Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to LinkedIn Live with OfficeSpace. I have been so excited for this conversation. So I'm Heather Larrabee, Chief Marketing Officer. I'm joined by three visionaries who are AI innovators, multi-product, uh, you know, innovators extraordinaire. So what we're going to talk about today is how we partner together using the power of Gen AI to bring a new product to market with incredible insights, and then built that product with agentic AI. So we're bringing together Gen AI, agentic AI, and amazing longtime thought leaders who are customer centric, who have data specialization. And so if you are a team like ours who's bringing products to market more rapidly than ever before, you need a tool like Winware, you need a partner like Winware. And we want to share, as Office Space, how we're building in public and how we're using new technology like this to rapidly accelerate the type of value we can bring to our clients. So I'm going to go around, I'm going to do some introductions, and please add to what I want to share about each of you. But I'm going to start with Stephen. So Stephen, you are a multi-product founder. You have, also built world-class SaaS brands who were category creators like Living Social. You've been at IBM. You exited to TripAdvisor with a product you created. You exited to Zoom user testing, which is the foremost category leader for user research. You and Craig have worked together for a really long time. I think across 3 or 4 companies. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. So, and Craig, so I'm going to go, well, anything you'd like to add, Stephen? You've got this specialization in data, sales, product, and customer centricity.
I mean, that's a great background, description of me. I think at heart, every founder has their niche of what they're great at or what they enjoy or what they lean into more. I've always considered myself a product person. I really, I love that fundamental process of trying to get to product market fit and deliver value for companies, and going from like, hey, I think this is a problem we should solve, to how do we get to this moment? This is like a great moment for us, is like, have such a great testimonial with a great customer or a great case study. From an idea to this is what I love.
And we're going to talk about, I think, that part of your nature, that absolute zone of genius of yours, and how it played out for Office Space related to even rapid product evolution of your own product in this very short time periods. But we'll come back to that. So now let's go to my friend Craig. So Craig,
Right.
you have been an enterprise sales leader at some of the biggest, best brands in the world, including LinkedIn, and I'm going to get them all right here. Hold on just a second. DoubleClick, like groundbreaking company, user Zoom, user testing. You're on multi-tours with Stephen. And, tell us a little bit about what gets you out of bed every day as not only a sales leader, but also you're a co-creator of many of these organizations with Stephen. So how
Yeah,
do you think about your partnership?
definitely. So this is our third tour, Steve and I. We also live a mile away, so we see each other a lot. And yeah, no, I've been fortunate to be at a lot of amazing companies. And I'd say it's the first time I built a company with Steve, but myself in general, from $1 up, right? From like groundbreaking product market fit and on forward. So having a customer like Office Space and other case studies we're coming out with is like the reward, right? Because there's so many highs and lows with the startup. And but I'll tell you the best thing about what we do and just what I've learned in my career, like anytime you can sell a neat item as a seller, it's a great place to be, right?
Mhm.
And so far we're seeing a lot of people actually need what we sell, which is awesome. So yeah, looking forward to talk more about our story.
And we'll talk about how the two of you met Andres, who's one of my dear friends, which he's brought you to us. But the other thing I think is interesting, Craig and Steve, about your background is the time you both spent in media companies, right? And so when you think about that customer obsession that media companies must have, along with that data-driven mindset so that those channels perform, I think that's also a really unique thing that's positioned you to be thought leaders in this era of AI. But I'm curious your comments on that.
So Steve, you want to go? You want me to go?
Well, I definitely want to talk about that because I think it's a great point. I wanted to add a little anecdote. Craig says we live a mile from each other in the same town. True story. I actually recruited him at our last company to be our chief revenue officer on the train station platform going into New York City. So we actually happened to be bumped into each other on the platform, and I was looking for like a sales leader, and I said, "What are you up to?" And he's like, I'm doing this here. And he's like, how things going with your current company? I was like, we need a lead. We need someone like you. He's like, oh yeah, ha ha ha. And I said, no, really, you. I come work for me. And that was it.
Yeah,
Love
true
it.
story.
But yeah, we worked at Double early on in both of our careers. And the beautiful thing about online media is just the measurability.
Yep.
And how you can really understand like the impact that you make. And of course, it's really, taking it to a whole nother level now.
Oh, great
We
stuff.
lost him. He'll be back. But we're gonna put a pin in that because I actually think it's really come to light inside the Winware product. Okay, so now I'm
Yeah.
gonna go to my friend Andres, who is, to me, one of the world's most talented, visionary AI thought leaders on the planet. So what I love to talk about with you is how you led IBM Watson's data and AI platform strategy. And we're so fortunate to get to work with you at OfficeSpace, and you came out of Wells Fargo, transforming their, data roadmaps. You've worked in these incredible world-class organizations, then gone into product leadership at Tea Leaf, then Zoom, user testing, where again, you're bridging these kind of vectors of data, customer, product market fit, insights to truly build research driven solutions that transform industries. And you worked with Craig and Steve at User Zoom and user testing, and you guys, led through all kinds of change, built that business to an incredible level. And now we get the chance to work with you. But Andres, you're helping guide our AI strategy, starting with Gen AI, now agentic AI, getting us so far ahead of everybody in our category. And you're also an exceptional leader. So you inspire and really empower the teams around you. I'm telling all the secrets here live on LinkedIn. But
What an intro.
talk to us about
That was big. That was big. Good guy,
talk to us
clearly.
about your partnership and why you introduced Winward Office Space.
Yeah, a couple of things. Like Stephen, I do consider myself a jack of all trades when it comes to product management. And at the core of that is really getting down to listening to our customers, prospects, as well as really taking in market trends to find that sweet spot. So the way we go about listening is extremely important. That's what guides what UX researchers, product managers, designers, and engineering folks work on a day-to-day basis. And the way we collect that information, speaking with people, and the methods we use to gather that information is extremely important, which is why, having worked with Craig and Stephen over the course of the last few years in different capacities, led me directly to them when we needed to do very quick research with the advent of AI. So my background is very much data centric, very much is an AI. And with the advent of technologies like Cursor, Devin, Claude, Lovable, developing really enterprise grade and scaled solutions is becoming easier, meaning that velocity is going to increase and become faster, meaning the way we run discovery, the way we research, the methodologies we deploy have to scale and be just as fast. And so when Steve reached out to me and said that he has been working on a new platform to do exactly that, particularly get research methods out quick in a way that can reach a broad audience. And not only that, and the big value add I see is like leveraging AI to then quickly synthesize insights as they're coming in real time. So that way our product and design and UX researcher teams can formulate quick decisions and opinions and perspectives to help drive our product roadmap, but then also the day-to-day scrum and squad calls that happen in our 3 paradigm engineering, product, and design processes.
Love it. Okay. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on myself, but as background and for lens of how I'm thinking about this partnership, I've been a marketing leader in B2C and B2B, but I think a through line for me that connects to all of you is I also am a really passionate kind of product innovator. And so I think that's part of what interests me. And so I've actually kind of stumbled into helping develop products in the company, SaaS products, like in the companies that I've served in, because I'm somebody that's always passionate about technology and freeing the human spirit, right? Because I really believe that when you free human creativity inside of organizations, like it creates social change. And that's what gets me out of bed every day. So technology is like the fastest path to that. And if you make companies successful, I think they have the most strategic imperative to help be part of the solution to the challenges we're facing globally long term, much more than nonprofit where I started. So that's a little bit of my why. But my last two companies were AI companies looking at machine learning, image recognition, serving frontline workforces and trying to transform their relationship to their employer on the front line, returning data to drive decision making and ultimately business performance. And it's interesting because now I've gone to the back office. So this is a company where we're helping transform a workforce's relationship to their employer in the workplace for good. That's what we want to stand for at Office Space, using AI. Um, so that you can be an employer of choice and you have material competitive advantage because you are ahead of the curve on your workforce strategy, which we help enable and give you real-time insights, especially with what Andres, Kylie, and teams are building. So we're going to go into Winware and how did we use this? So I'm going to set this up. But for our audience, Andres, Kylie, and their team leads essentially tapped into the power of agentic AI to code alongside of us. And what's important to understand is that without subject matter or domain expertise, anybody can build with these tools, but it's not going to be, a solution that your buyer or your customers need. And so that domain expertise for the foreseeable future is going to be so critical. So if you're evaluating solutions out there, whether it's Office Space or anything else, stick with people who know your problems and your business. So then we're going to enter Winware, because what we have to do is figure out and in go to market and product teams, now that we can actually engineer and code at light speed, what else has to change in the business in order to build the right thing? And so that's where Winware came in. So we're going to set this up, but ultimately it's a platform where you conduct first party data research. So something that might have taken tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars in expense and months to complete, and compress that into a very cost-effective investment where you've got insights back in 2 weeks. And so we are running surveys to understand the product requirements, getting real-time feedback, showing examples of initial product designs, and then being able to use that to actually move in a new direction when we saw these were things that the market either does need or doesn't need, or this is more important or less important. But Andres, tell us a little bit about what started to happen for you as you began to see the research flowing in from this test that we did with Winware.
Oh, yes. Like I said, because of the Winware platform, we were able to get very quick insights as they were coming in. And we were able to start making modifications to the way we were thinking about specifically the user experience of our brand new asset management tool that we will be launching full on in the market next week. So be on the lookout for more news about that. But Winware was absolutely critical in helping us shape how we think about the features and capabilities that are absolutely required, because usually that takes a quarter, if not more, of discovery timeframe that we were able to narrow down into weeks, backed by a number of different domain experts. Because I don't want to or gloss over what you had said earlier, Heather. The domain expertise is extremely important when you're running this fast, right, at the pace of development, because these are the folks that have spent years and decades managing the workplace, walking facilities folks who leverage our software, as who will also leverage our new asset management adjacent tool that we're building. They know them, they know their challenges, they know their problems. That was just as important in setting up the type of research we want to do and leverage Winware for. As far as insights were going, though, we were able to make some early quick changes to our design iterations. Because an interesting thing that came out of the research very fast was that there is a number of different manual processes that facilities folks and asset managers are currently doing that can easily be automated. And the challenges that they run into are a few fold, but one of the bigger ones was just the user experience of existing tools, whether that's Excel they were using or an incumbent or legacy asset management tool that they were using. The UX turns out to be pretty important because that helps foster adoption. And as anybody who's ever purchased software knows, the output is only as good as the input.
Mhm.
So the cleanliness of data, the adoption, the usage is extremely important when it comes to asset for breaking down silos across an organization. So we really pinned that at the very forefront of how we thought about this product, in addition to some of the core and critical capabilities and needs that were coming out of the research as well.
So I want to go to Craig next and then to Stephen and to describe the process. So when you started working with us, like you are guiding us through a process to figure out who do we want to talk to? What do we want to learn from this research? So how do you help your customers go through this and talk a little bit about what you did with us and also some of the steering and the guidance you gave us? Because you also really shaped the design of our study based on your longtime expertise in this space. So, Craig, tell us what a customer would start with when doing research with Winware.
Yeah, no, happy to. And I'll say, just listen to Andres and Steve We're on a couple of prospect calls this morning, like high level. There's so much going on so fast with AI today. I know our buyers' heads are spinning, right? People are getting annihilated with AI pitches every day. And I think a lot of buyers today are also in a position where they don't know how to buy because so many of the tools that people are trying to generate today, AI agent this, AI agent that, they sort of don't know how to gain consensus to get the buy done.
Mm.
So to answer your question, so many of the customers we're working with, like with Office Space, they're getting so much pressure from the top down, whether it be their VC, whether it be their private equity owners. You need to build fast, right? Because with AI you can, but you better make sure it's the right bets, right? For obvious reasons. We all have revenue goals to hit.
Yeah.
So with Office Space specifically, it was really, and your team was amazing. You guys really started with the end in mind. Like, what do we want to uncover, right? We're thinking about going to market with this new asset management solution. We want to talk to IT folks, facilities folks, operations, finance. We want to understand from each of them, what are their pains? Can we potentially help solve them? But I'd say we started out with a lot of quant-based questions, understanding the verticals you were selling into, what was the core challenge that they had, and then you would dive deeper with qualitative questions like, tell specifically why you would use this tool, and let's go deeper. Right. And that's what helped you come to your end state of building out a new tool. So, and I just have a couple of questions here that I thought would be helpful for the audience.
Yeah.
Because every team wants to know this. What factors would drive the buying decision for new office management solution? Right. Please be specific. Please give us more detail. Right. And then even dive in further. Qualitative questions around, who would be involved in this decision today? Right. AI is new. It's a new buying process for many folks. Who will be involved? Why? Who else might be part of that decision-making process? So in summary, we really helped you from start to finish, from a quantitative perspective, get large scale, 112 from your buying audience, answer specific questions on the products you put in front of them, validate that they need it, and then specifically how your team can sell it in along with the messaging. So I hope I did a good job, but that's what we did for you and what we're doing for other companies.
You did. And I want to, where I'm coming to you next, Steve, but I want to mention something in response to Craig, but get ready for me to ask you about how you, evolved your product rapidly with some of the AI layers, to benefit us. But Craig,
Right.
As a go-to-market leader, what I found so invaluable, and so anybody else that's out here watching this, to me, this is the magic of Winware. If you are building quickly and you have to learn a new audience, segment, set of competitors, set of pain points, messaging, positioning, and also what matters most to them so that you can build the best product, but also so you can communicate it clearly. that's something that might take a year for a team to learn, a marketing team or a sales team to learn a whole new category. And the power of the voice of the customer that comes through your platform. I couldn't wait to get the email alerts that a new survey was completed. And then your AI layer, which we'll talk about with Steve, like makes it so easy to synthesize the insights. And then you have some total wow factor capabilities that are especially helpful for marketing, business development, and sales teams for content creation. So you're harnessing the power of Gen AI to help teams like mine, who again, we're assuming our use cases, we're creating something in 3 months that has never existed. And it's not like we have 18 years of experience the way we do on the Office Space side, knowing this buyer and this capability set. So I love that. I'm a big fan. But Steve, and you added AI layers after talking to Andres. What did you add? Why? And why did you see, benefit in doing that for us?
Yeah, I wanted to. I definitely want to say that, but I wanted to build on something you said earlier, which is we are definitely going through right now a transformation in how companies work and how products work. Early on, before the cloud, the big bottleneck was infrastructure. Can you build the server farms and all the other stuff? Well, the cloud removed that blocker, and now with agentic AI. But then the bottleneck became, can you build it? Do you have enough developers? Can you hire enough developers? Can you build it? And with agentic AI and all those AI efficiency tools, now that's becoming less of a bottleneck. And then the power shifts to, should we build it? And should we get it right? And how do we differentiate it?
Mm.
And that's where product management, marketing and positioning, and voice of customer research, we have a little take on words, a voice of buyer research,
Mm.
kind of differentiates focus on prospects versus existing customers. That's what we're trying to do. So our background, as we said, we've been doing qualitative research for over a decade. And what I saw when I was building Winware was AI giving us an opportunity to get deep insights much, much faster. So there was always this balance between in-person live interviews, which are really rich and deep,
Mm-hmm.
but are expensive and time consuming,
Mm-hmm.
and surveys, which are faster and cheaper, but don't always give you the level of detail you're looking for.
Yeah.
And so we built an AI interviewer that is built into our surveys. And for any text-based question, what we do is we actually analyze their answer in real time, and we ask the participant follow-up questions in real time, grading their responses on how specific and how actionable they are.
Yeah.
So, and then we'll ask them for follow-up questions in real time. And so what that does is it leaves you with really actionable, meaty insights to answer your questions. And I think that's kind of one of the big innovations. The second big innovation area that we focus on is helping you synthesize the findings. So after you get 115 people, 112 people, your prospects, to answer questions and give you their points of view and talk about their pain points and their challenges and their budgets and all this other stuff, it's always hard to synthesize that and to turn it into action. And so that's where I think AI also shines, where it can really add a lot of value to our partners that need to take those insights and create something and change a product spec or change a positioning or change a this. And so that's a big part of our innovation. We built some AI agents there around that as well.
Yeah, I love it. And our team has used those extensively, and you've got these incredible capabilities. So after the survey's done, the synthesis is done, you can query it live like you would ChatGPT or Perplexity, and essentially prompt engineer all kinds of content, again, with the voice of the customer, the voice of the market, which is always the most powerful, right? That is the North Star at the end of the day. So the other thing I love too, which I think speaks to your ethos as a founder, is that you share the LinkedIn profile. So we know the quality and the veracity of the research that you're providing through your platform. And I think that's also super powerful. And even just anecdotally being able to pattern match or like notice interesting trends within the people that agreed to participate in the research That is so powerful also for marketing leaders in the future. So there's just so many layers of benefits to Winware. And as you can tell, we're super passionate about it. So bravo on this incredible product.
I think that, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think the transparency of the participant is such an important feature that we bring into our product. And it's something that I felt strongly about because I've been in qualitative research for over a decade. And I can say some inside baseball, airing some dirty laundry of the industry. If you don't know, if it's a blind study and you don't really know who it was that was on the other side answering, I'm sorry to say, it's not always the person. Some of it's self-reported, right? And maybe they're a VP of marketing, maybe they're a marketing manager who aspires to be a VP of marketing and wants to get paid the $60 to answer the survey.
Yeah.
And so we just try to take that all out by requiring LinkedIn authentication and being transparent about who it is who's sharing that information, who's giving you that response. And so you have confidence that that actually is your ICP, that is exactly who you want buying that product. And great, now I can really lean in on the deep insights that I'm getting.
So speaking of those deep insights, I'm going to come now, Andres, to you. So we're going to talk about our early access program. We're going to talk about the speed at which two incredible engineers, JF and Lee, big shout out to you guys, along with incredible product leaders, Sahara, Fallon, Nick Mason in product marketing. We've got this really vibrant early access program. And Sahara was sharing with a group of CIOs last week how we're working with existing clients along with the Winware research to kind of stress test what we're developing every week. And so she said previously, it would have taken us 5 engineers, 2.5 years to build a product that is as powerful as the one we built with 2 people in 90 days and their subject matter expertise. And that in the past, we would have shown early access testers the product at about 90% completion. So then it's just final kind of design edits and feedback versus lots of deep capabilities. And because we could, ship new code so quickly week over week, every single week, the early access committee joined us. Their minds were blown with what was new in the product week over week. And there were really some critical moments that we were able to double down on certain areas based on what they told us that in the past, it would have been a year or two later that we would have been able to get to those feature enhancements. So talk to us about just the way you're thinking about this for your next, solution that you and the team will help build. And what do you think the value is of kind of merging Winware with our early access program and the strength of your own research, commitment to building what clients need? Like Steve said, like, should we build it? And, how do we get it just right out of the gate?
Yeah. Yeah. It goes back to what you said a little bit earlier. What we've embraced at OfficeSpace is really this philosophy of build in public. And that means our early access programs that give exclusive access to early users of whatever we build is critical to how we develop product now. And because we can develop so much faster than previous, early research and early feedback is extremely important. And every early access participant's piece of feedback makes its way not into a roadmap, but quite literally the next iteration of the actual product that can be played with, tested, and provided feedback on. And so, in this time that we're in right now, where AI is transforming everything, and there are a lot of speculations about how much transformation is going to happen, not just in the next 5 years, but in the next 6 to 12 months, it's extremely important for product teams specifically to really anchor research at the core of this acceleration. Running discovery, getting early insights is going to become more important than it ever has been before. And I would stress everybody to test and ask your vendors, what are they doing to keep up with the pace of change? And how can you be involved? Because that's going to be such an important aspect of ensuring that you're not creating vaporware.
Yeah. And we look at that ourselves internally with our own technology partners, right? The suppliers that we procure software from. we expect as a team that if they don't have a really strong AI and agentic AI strategy and roadmap that will benefit us and our business, if they're not willing to build with us in public and to incorporate, because now it's possible for any team to do this, right? So we want to be part of this revolution. The revolution will be agentified. We feel like people are going to be left behind. So let's talk about what's next, Steve, Craig, for you guys, and also a little bit about how can people benefit from your incredible platform the way we have. So what's next for your vision? And then Craig, so I'll ask Steve, and then Craig, over to you. How do people tap into the power of Winware?
Yeah, I think the next big thing that we're doing with customers is what we call always on research, always on done for you, with two focuses: one on your personas, like really helping you understand, um, you know, what are the challenges, what are the needs, what are the shifting priorities, what are the shifting budgets as things are evolving, and then also from a competitive landscape, your positioning versus competitive positioning. One of the things we've heard over and over again is when our customers get these insights, they're like, wow, this is such good stuff. Like I was questioning that, or I really thought this other thing, but it's just so clear now that I see the voice of the customer. Yet there's some friction in setting up a research report and running it. And so we want to be viewed as a partner in delivering these insights for you, as opposed to a research tool that you have to log into and kind of figure out. And so we've shifted our model. We certainly always have that self-serve component, but we're also offering this always-on research done for you, where we once we've upfront identified your personas and these kind of questions that are really important to your business, we just run them, and we're constantly learning for you and delivering insights to you, and then also from a competitive landscape as well.
And Craig, before we talk about how do people plug in with you, I think for the audience, the use cases I know about with this always on research, but there's probably many more. But for go-to-market leaders in marketing, in sales, in product, if you want to evaluate the efficacy of your marketing messaging, if you want to do win-lost or close-lost analysis, if you're doing what we described, where you need to bring a new product to market rapidly, or engage a new buying persona, you can use it for that. There's probably many other use cases. As I just heard you talking, I'm thinking about it as always on research that then can feed thought leadership programs. So if you want to bring fresh insights to market, use it for that. But what are other things you guys are dreaming of?
I mean, Steve's thinking about 15 things a day. I hear them all. But for now, it's really everything you said. It all starts with the research. It all starts with the research. Everything else gets built from there. But as you know, the last 7 or 8 years, we were Validately, we got acquired by Uzoom, then we merged with user testing. So we were selling to UX researchers for the last 7 years. What we do today is it's generally different than that, right? We're selling to go-to-market teams to help them produce results. And, we have clients. Our largest client that we work with is LexisNexis. We're working with Convera, Doppler, SpecterOps, doing a lot in cybersecurity. My main point there is to work with some very large organizations down to smaller companies. Anyone that's looking today, and one thing I've learned early on in my career with sales, you always look at the emotional side of buyers, right? How can I really help them with their job, right? How can I help them do better with their job? How can them look better with their boss? And we actually do that because we bring the voice of the customer to the table with no BS, right? So anything you might be hearing internally about the voice of the customer and what your CEO is saying about the voice of the customer, that's all great, but here's 50 people that are saying this, right? So in summary, it's bringing that with speed. You see the LinkedIn profiles, right, which is paramount, as Steve said, and at great value. So really everything we've done with OfficeSpace, we're starting to do with more customers. You guys are like the dream client. We can't thank you enough. But hopefully that was helpful. And then I can tell you
That
how
is
to.
very helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, so give us your website. We'll also post it in the comment, but please contact Craig. Like, this is truly a game-changing solution, but more so the people behind the product, right? Craig, Steve, and their teams. Like, you're never going to find better partners who are more committed to your success. That's what we found. And Andres knows, because he's worked with these guys across multiple companies. And so I think, I just personally am really grateful to now have the opportunity to partner with you guys and would work with you wherever I go. So winware.ai.
Yeah, winware.ai, Craig at winware.ai. I do want to comment that Andre's microphone is incredible. I'm going to go buy one after this. His personality is amazing. But yeah, we're just reach out. We'd love to talk to you.
Awesome. And then Andres, why don't you bring us home with what's happening on Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, and we want people to join us, and let's get rolling.
Yeah, Tuesday is the outcome of all of the great research. We partnered with Winware coming into fruition, as well as the blood, sweat, and tears of a lot of folks at OfficeSpace that have put a lot of effort in making sure that we're bringing a high-class quality product of asset management to the market. Right. So, I mean, this is the culmination of a lot of hard work of a lot of great folks, not just internally to OfficeSpace, but also our clients and people we've had the privilege of speaking to along the way. So definitely come and join us for that launch. We're super excited to show, as we say, build in public, show exactly what we've built and highlight some of the value propositions.
Yes, and we'll be joined with our clients at WWE, which is owned by Empower, so one of the world's top entertainment brands, who have purchased this product before it's out fully in the market. We've had multiple clients actually buy this, so imagine that. Also, go to market leaders. We're so thankful for the trust and the faith that they have in us and in our solutions and our team. But they're going to share their experience and talk about what it's like to be in our early access program. We'll give a demo of the product. We've got prizes and giveaways. And we also are going to have surveys so that you can tell us, what would you like us to build next? Is it going to be capital planning, lease management, ESG, other things that we're dreaming up? We want to hear from you. So please do join us and RSVP, and we'll send you the recording afterwards if you can't make it at 1 on Tuesday. But thank you, Winware team, Craig, Steve. Thank you, Andres, and super proud of this partnership. Wishing you only tremendous success.
Us too. Thank you so much.
We're so lucky. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye,
Cheers, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.